Hey guys, let's start out with a little bell work. Today's bell work is to convert each fraction into a percent, round to the nearest tenth. Please pause the video and come back when you're ready to see the answers. Remember, to find the percent, we have to divide the numerator by the denominator and then round. Let's talk about something called relative frequency. Relative frequency is how often something happens divided by all the outcomes. Let's look at this example. Your team has won 9 games from a total of 12 games. The frequency of winning is 9. The relative frequency of winning is 9 divided by 12, which is equal to 75%. Let's look at this example. 92 people were asked how they got to work. Well, 35 of them used a car, 42 took public transportation, 8 rode a bicycle, and 7 walked. To find each relative frequency, we need to divide the part by the whole. Car, 35 divided by 92 is 0.38. Public transportation, 42 divided by 92 is 0.46. Bicycle, 8 divided by 92 is 0.09, and walking is 7 divided by 92, which is 0.08. We rounded each one of those to the nearest hundredth. Now, if we added them all together, it should equal 1, but because our rounding is a little bit off, it equals 1.01. Let's look at this two-way table. This two-way table is comparing students between the ages of 10 and 13 and ages 14 and 17 who eat breakfast and skip breakfast. We have something called marginal frequencies. Marginal frequencies are in the margins, and they are the totals. The total of students who eat breakfast and skip breakfast in the ages of 10 to 13 and the ages 14 to 17. Students who are in the ages of 10 to 13, there are 54 of them. Students who are ages 14 to 17 are 36. Students who eat breakfast, both 10 to 13 and 14 to 17, are 47, and those who skip breakfast, both age groups, are 43. Let's look at conditional frequencies. Conditional frequencies are when you put conditions. For example, who eats breakfast? Well, the students that are 10 to 13, there are 40 of them. Students who are 14 to 17, there are 12 of them. All students who eat breakfast are 47, no matter what age they are. What other conditional frequencies do you see? Look at this new two-way table. This table compares girls and boys whose favorite subjects are math, English, or science. There were 315 total surveyed. 50 girls liked math, 40 girls liked English, and 60 girls liked science. 65 boys math, 30 boys English, and 70 boys liked science best. But what are those percentages? Well, those percentages are called conditional relative frequencies. So I can tell that 33% of all the girls surveyed like math. 42% of all the boys surveyed like science. So I'm looking at this and I can see that boys surveyed, there was 39% liked math better than the girls liked math. Let's look at what we call joint relative frequency, the inside percents. Girls who liked math, 33%. Boys who liked English best was 18%. Remember, the inside was called joint relative frequency. The outside was called marginal relative frequency. It's your turn to make a two-way table. Let's read. At Bear Lakes Middle School, 635 students were asked which social media site they updated the most on a daily basis. 75 seventh graders said they used Instagram the most. There were a total of 321 students that said Facebook was the most updated. Of 247 eighth graders, 23 of them updated Instagram the most. There were 181 sixth graders at Bear Lakes. Of the 158 Twitter users, 45 of them were sixth graders. There were 123 eighth graders using Facebook. Stop the video and draw your two-way table. Let's look at my table. Does yours match mine? I had, out of sixth grade, 78 said Facebook, 58 Instagram, 45 Twitter, for a total of 181. 120 seventh graders said Facebook, 75 Instagram, 12 Twitter, for a total of 207. Eighth grade, 123 said Facebook, 23 Instagram, and 101 said Twitter, for a total of 247. The total of all should equal 635. Do your totals match my totals? Let's look at some questions. Please stop the video, answer the questions, and then come back and check your answers. There's another set of questions on the page following this one. Let's check our answers. 156 students used Instagram in total. The joint frequency for seventh graders using Facebook is 120. The marginal frequency for all Twitter users is about 158. Which grade level has the most students? Well, eighth grade, of course. The highest marginal frequency, remember on the outside, was Facebook, which was 321 students. The marginal relative frequency, which is going to be the percent, there is 247 out of 635, which about 40%, 39 or so, of all the students are eighth graders. Here's some more questions for you to answer. Interpret the joint relative frequencies. Let's look at these very carefully. Remember, joint relative frequencies are on the inside. The percent of students preferred Facebook, we have to figure that out, and that's about 50.6%. How many students use Facebook or Instagram? And that means one or the other. And that is going to be about 477 total. What type of frequency does the ages between 207 and 635 represent? Well, that's a marginal relative frequency. Remember, that's on the outside, and that's for seventh grade.